Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on episode one of Guppy the Libertarian. Since it is episode one, a little bit about myself quickly. I live in Michigan. I'm a music teacher and a freelance musician. I love photography, and I also love dogs. I have friends that actually call me the dog whisperer. I speak fluent dog, and I think people could learn a lot from dogs. I like to feel over the last probably decade of my life, I've become very politically awake as to how our two-party system is a sham. The two big parties, the donkeys and elephants, are both in bed with big business. The good of the people is no longer a priority. It's 100% about the almighty dollar. And while they throw up smoke screens and keep us arguing about everything else, the government continues to do whatever they want. I took a good, long, hard look at the Libertarian Party. I saw honest people. I saw people with integrity. I saw people with track records to back this up. I'll quote Ron Paul, actually. He said one time, "I don't even allow lobbyists in my office." And that is the type of politics we need to fix what Republicans and Democrats have destroyed over the last 100 years. Have you ever asked yourself the question, you've maybe read an article or saw something and thought, why isn't this on my mainstream news station? Well, there's a reason. Doing research, I found out virtually all radio and television is owned by about 6 corporations. So, boy, no room for corruption there, right? But enough of the small talk. I want to get to the meat of today's show. It's showing how you're actually being influenced. Not this show isn't so much government about the government as it is social media. My friend Dave, I've known him about half my life. Dave is also a musician, a fantastic musician, and a very intelligent guy who has the ability to think outside the box as well. Dave came up with some information to me that was astonishing. Like I said, about social media, namely Facebook. And I'm not gonna tell you a whole lot, because actually we're gonna go to Dave via Skype, and I'm gonna let him tell you what he found here today. I want to thank him for sharing his information with me on this show on our first episode today. But I'm not going to waste any more time here. Let's go via Skype to Dave, and I'll let him tell you what he found. Okay? We'll be right back. I'm just going to turn it over to you, Dave. Why don't you tell me what you found and let everybody know what you discovered here.
All right. Quick little bit of background. I'm kind of like consider myself politically aware, not part of a left or right paradigm. And I like to monitor what's going on Facebook. And, I became aware of some political pages on Facebook. One's called Being Liberal and one's called Being Conservative.
And not to interrupt you, they're both pretty big pages. They both have a lot of followers, don't they?
Well, yeah. The Being Liberal is just shy of 1 million, and
a million
Being
people.
Conservative is like 2.4 million.
So these are the big ones too. These aren't some little site that some guy set up in his living room. These are the big ones. Okay.
Right. And these pages aren't just like communities, or like, meaning that there are different types of pages you can set up on Facebook. Some of them allow you to have employees listed. Okay, so these are the types of pages that actually have people working for them.
And they're getting paid, do you know?
Well, that I can't say. I don't know if they're getting paid.
Okay.
But just to tell the story and how I stumbled on this, okay, I was posting some, replies on this Being Liberal page, which is very condescending toward anybody that doesn't think their way. And I came across a post from somebody who had just started a page as a community page called Being Libtarded. Okay. So whoever's behind this page was from the right way of thinking and was trying to counteract everything that was being said on Being Liberal. So I liked this guy's page because I kind of liked, the viewpoint of where he was coming from.
Sure.
Well, because you like a page, you see their posts in the news feed. And I happened to see a post just the other day, a couple days ago, where he had posted a screen capture, an image of what he called the minions behind Being Liberal. And what it showed was a few sections of like a scroll of a screen capture where you saw the search. It said people that work at Being Liberal in the Facebook search bar. And then the people that work for it were all like had Islamic names. and they were all from countries from the Middle East and other parts of Europe and anywhere but the United States. So I tried to search myself, and sure enough, it worked. And there was miles long of all these people with names you can barely pronounce, and they all worked for being liberal.
American politics.
Right. They're the ones that are injecting these liberal ways of thinking into this Facebook page.
Sure.
So what I did was, I thought to myself, well, who's behind being conservative? So I did the same exact search. People who work at being conservative. And sure enough, it was the same exact thing. Everybody working for this page, including the owners, the people who list themselves as the owners, the CEOs, the administrators, whatever they call themselves, or just works for, they're all from mostly Indonesia. So what I did was I went back to being libtarded, and I made a post with a link saying, oh, look who works for being conservative as well.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask you too. What happened when you posted your results?
Right. So I went back there and I did that right on the same post that had the picture of the people who work for being liberal. And it wasn't maybe 10 minutes. I went back to the post. My post had been deleted from that post, and I was banned from making any more comments on being libtarded.
So they banned you. So not they're obviously suppressing.
So guess what? Whoever's running being libtarded is one of these people too. It's not an American. Obviously, that's my opinion, because I don't know. But why would they ban me from showing the other side of it?
That's exactly right. It's almost like the GMOs. If they're not dangerous, why won't they label them? And it's the same thing. As soon as you call these people out, they ban you from their site. They don't want anyone else to know this. Why don't they want other people to know if there isn't some sort of conspiracy? I don't try to stay away from that word, but
the word conspiracy, people, it's a dirty word because our media is made.
Because the media has, exactly.
If two or more people are involved in doing something, that's a conspiracy.
Right now, we're conspiring, right? According to the media, anyway.
To expose this right now, right? So anyway. The way that I see this personally is there's teams of foreign people out there that are actively injecting thought processes into the minds of Americans through these Facebook pages, and who knows what other media outlets these people are involved with.
Right.
That's my point. I think it's very revealing.
We probably just scratched the surface here. I mean, who knows how deep this goes.
But I just think that knowing what we know right now, as of what I've discovered by doing these searches, is disturbing enough to think that these people, all these people from outside America, are the ones that are making these like psychological attacks on the minds of Americans to pit us against each other, to get us fighting with one another, because that's what you see on these pages. Conservatives against liberals. And it's like all about like divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer, exactly. It really makes you think. And you see the corruption on both sides, and you have to wonder. I mean, it's a way to keep the honest politicians out of office. The guys that'll play the game, the bank puppets, and they keep us fighting. As long as they can keep us. If we were one voice, imagine the power we'd have. And that's exactly what it is to keep us divided. Were you able to find out who the leaders or owners of the site were? I mean, does it say who
you can find them as they are listed on those search results, and some of them actually say CEO and founder.
Okay, right. And were those foreigners as well? I mean, were those?
Well, they have their own Facebook pages. You can go check them out. They're real people.
Yeah. But they weren't from this country. The CEOs were not from this country either of these pages.
No, well, actually, the one for being liberal is a cat that is living, I think, in either New Jersey or New York. A recent article was written about him on a web blog, and it was talking about the being liberal page, and then down at the bottom were the comments from people, and just about all of the comments had to do with people stating that as soon as they make any sort of a comment on that page or a reply to a post that steps outside of their view, they're automatically banned.
Right.
And their post is deleted. So they can't make, so if they're saying if this guy really wants to have a fair and open discussion, then why are you being banned for voicing your opinion as an American.
And you know,
right?
another good point, it's suppressing freedom of speech.
Exactly.
which you know, they're posting about American politics. Freedom of speech is in our Bill of Rights, but they suppress that. So what does that tell you right there about the site? They suppress freedom of speech.
You know, people are passionate about the way that they feel about, you know, politics, but then by the same token, I think that when you get banned from these pages, it's obviously not anybody real. I think it's these foreigners. And you know what? You can go into any Facebook page and do that people who work at, and then the name of the page. If there's nobody that works for it, you'll get no results. But if there are, you can see. And, you know, there was a few organizations that I did that on where it was actually maybe 6 or 7 people. I can't remember which one it was. It was a political organization, but it was literally 100% American. And it was Americans, you know, that were listed as the people that worked for it.
Right.
So there you go.
And it feels to me, you know, it seems to me like if they had people from other countries, you had a legitimate question. Hey, why are these people from other countries working? Why didn't they just give you a legitimate answer? Hey, maybe it's cheaper. You know, understand that we don't have a lot of money. It's a Facebook page. But instead of answering your question, they block you and just enough of this guy opposing viewpoint. Right. We don't want that on our page, right? I mean, why didn't they just give you an answer? I mean,
yeah, the purpose of those pages is not to engage people and, you know, have any sort of like real debate. It's to make a point and to try to, you know, take people's minds using images like memes,
right,
and just, you know, posts and you know, news stories that are very, very one-sided to try to influence people who may not already have a political opinion.
And then what do people do? They post it on their page, and everyone with the opposite opinion, right?
People's political opinions from, you know, that are on an extreme side, one or the other.
Right.
That's what it's there for.
And then usually what do people do? And then usually people share these pictures on their personal page, and what does that do? It starts a bunch of controversy, and there we're right back to where we started again, button heads.
Right. And there's your divide and conquer.
Where do we get when we're button heads? Like I said, if we were one voice, imagine the power we'd have. But unfortunately, we're not in this country. And I think this is, you know, things like this is a big influence. You know, things like this are a big influence on the way people think. Facebook, I mean, is how popular is Facebook? Who doesn't have a Facebook page these days? You know, everybody has a Facebook page. So what a great media to do this on. You know, I mean, if you're trying to control people, I think it's a great. I don't think it's great, but I think it's pretty brilliant of them to do this. You know.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's a great find. I mean, I think it's something everybody should know. I would suggest everybody get off these pages.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and that leads me to my next thought. I think you know, with it is known that, you know, Facebook itself isn't created by this puppet that they put up there, this kid that is supposedly the CEO and the creator of Facebook. It's openly admitted that, you know, organizations such as the CIA and DARPA and the NSA are all involved with the creation and perpetuation of Facebook, and that it's a data mining operation. People that put in their constant daily routine and everything, I mean, whether you delete it or not, it's never deleted.
Exactly.
It's never deleted. It's always there, whether you delete it or not. It might not be available on your page, but it's still there in their database, right?
Right.
So it's basically everything that you do, everything that you like, they have a profile of you.
Right.
So if you're in there, like, making comments on political opinions, they know who you are and how you think and
how
what
you
you're
feel.
about.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
You know, if it ever comes down to it, and, you know, they want to find out who took the red pill and who took the blue pill, they'll know.
It's all in your file. Right. You know what, Dave, though, I'm looking, we're down to about 30 seconds here, so I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, this is a great find. I appreciate you sharing it with us on the show here.
Sure.
Hopefully you'll be a big part of it in the future.
All right, man. My pleasure.
Good work. Hey, thanks again. Pleasure having you.
All right, man. Take care.
We'll see you.
Yep.
Thank you, Dave, so much for sharing that information with us on my first episode here. I appreciate that. Pretty interesting stuff, huh? It really makes you wonder how these people, who are almost all from other countries, have such an interest, not only have such an interest, have the time to work with a Facebook page that revolves around American politics. I don't have the time to work on a Facebook page that revolves around the government in Myanmar. Do you? And it makes you wonder, what's the motive? What's the motive there? And like Dave said, I mean, to me, it's pretty clear. I think to him, it is as well. It's divide and conquer. It's the same thing the Republicans and Democrats do. If they keep us fighting with each other, we can never be one voice and accomplish what we need to accomplish. I think the first thing I would suggest is to get the hell off those pages. Better yet, write them a letter and ask them why. Chances are the person you're writing to doesn't even live in this country, but ask them why they have all foreign workers working for a site that revolves around American politics. I doubt you'll even get a reply. And you know what? Do me a favor and tell them the reason you're writing and asking is because you saw it on this show. Okay? While Republicans and Democrats, the federal government will keep you arguing about issues like abortion and gay marriage, which, in my opinion, are complete state issues. The federal government shouldn't even be involved in these issues. And I understand these issues may be important to certain people. But while we're arguing about things like this, they're devaluing the dollar, they're printing more money, they're raising the debt ceiling, and the rich are getting richer. If you watch the news, Wall Street shows a profit every day, don't they? And it just, like I said, it's the whole two-party system is a classic case of divide and conquer. They all work for the bankers. That's the bottom line. And like I told Dave, if we could be one voice, imagine how strong we could be and accomplish a balanced budget for beginner. Once we accomplish a balanced budget, then we can tackle issues like abortion and gay marriage. But right now, our economy is collapsing. It's unsustainable. Our economy is unsustainable the way it's being run, and it's a scary thought. Like I said, I don't think abortion and gay marriage will be important if we have a financial collapse and you're hungry and need to feed your children. So, again, thank you very much for joining me. If you have any story ideas, feel free to contact me. I appreciate that. Not that topics are of a shortage when it comes to this subject, but if you have any good ideas, like Dave contacted me and told me, hey, look what I found, anything like that, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, please subscribe. You can also look up Guppy the Libertarian on Facebook. Follow me there, and I appreciate it. I hope to do a bi-weekly show, and I'm going to try my darndest to do that. I work a day job, but I'm going to try to do a bi-weekly show, so we will see you in a couple weeks. Okay, thank you.